Hello, family. Bless you all. Bless the Lord. Hope everyone is doing well. We will pick up in the book of Jasher at chapter 31. In the seventh year, excuse me, in the seventh year, Jacob's service to Laban was completed. And Jacob said to Laban, "Give me my wife, for the days of my service are fulfilled." Laban did so. And Laban and Jacob assembled all the people of that place, and they made a feast. In the evening, Laban came to the house, and afterward Jacob came there with the people of the feast. And Laban extinguished all the lights that were there in the house. Jacob said to Laban, "Why do you do this thing to us?" And Laban answered, "Such is our custom to act in this land." Afterward, Laban took his daughter Leah, and he brought her to Jacob. And he came to her, and Jacob did not know that she was Leah. And Laban gave his daughter Leah, his maid Zilpah, for a handmaid. All the people at the feast knew that what Laban had done to Jacob, but they didn't tell a thing to Jacob. All the neighbors came that night to Jacob's house, and they ate and drank and rejoiced, and played before Leah on the timbrels and with dances, and they responded before Jacob, "Heliah, Heliah." Jacob heard their words but did not understand their meaning, but he thought such might be their custom in this land. And the neighbors spoke these words before Jacob during the night. And all the lights that were in the house Laban had that night been extinguished. In the morning, when daylight appeared, Jacob turned to his wife, and he saw it was Leah that had been lying in his bosom. And Jacob said, "So now I know what the neighbors said last night. Heliah, they said, and I knew it not." Jacob called to Laban and said to him, "What is this that you did to me? Certainly I served you for Rachel. Why did you deceive me and give me Leah?" Laban answered Jacob, saying, "Not so is it done in our place to give the younger before the elder. Therefore, if you desire to take her sister likewise, you take her to you for the service which you will serve me for another 7 years." Jacob did so, and he also took Rachel for a wife. He served Laban 7 years more, and Jacob also came to Rachel, and he loved Rachel more than Leah. Laban gave her his maid Bilhah for a handmaid. When the Lord saw that Leah was hated, the Lord opened her womb, and she conceived and gave birth to Jacob 4 sons in those days. And these are their names: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. And afterward she ceased bearing. At that time Rachel was unable to conceive and had no children. And Rachel envied her sister Leah. When Rachel saw that she gave birth to no children to Jacob, she took her handmaid Bilhah, and she gave birth to Jacob 2 sons, Dan and Naphtali. When Leah saw that she had ceased bearing, she also took her handmaid Zilpah and gave her to Jacob for a wife. Jacob also came to Zilpah, and she gave birth to Jacob 2 sons, Gad and Asher. Leah again conceived and gave birth to Jacob in those days 2 sons and 1 daughter, and these are their names: Issachar, Zebulun, and their sister Dinah. Rachel was still unable to conceive in those days, and Rachel prayed to the Lord at that time, and she said, "O Lord God, remember me and visit me. I beg you, for now my husband will cast me off, for I have borne him no children. And now, O Lord Elohim, hear my supplication before you, and see my affliction, and give me children like one of the handmaids, that I may no more bear my reproach." The Most High heard her and opened her womb, and Rachel conceived and gave birth to a son. And she said, "The Lord has taken away my reproach." She called his name Joseph, saying, "May the Lord add to me another son." Jacob was 91 years old when she gave birth to him. At that time, Jacob's mother, Rebekah, sent her nurse Deborah, the daughter of Uz, and the 2 of Isaac's servants to Jacob. They came to Jacob to Haran and said to him, "Rebekah has sent us to you that you shall return to your father's house to the land of Canaan." Jacob listened to them of this which his mother had spoken. At that time, the other 7 years which Jacob served Laban for Rachel were completed. And it was at the end of 14 years that he had lived in Haran. Jacob said to Laban, "Give me my wives and send me away, that I may go to my land. For behold, my mother did send to me from the land of Canaan, that I should return to my father's house." And Laban said to him, "Not so, I pray you. If I have found favor in your sight, do not leave me. Tell me your wages, and I will give them, and remain with me." Jacob said to him, excuse me, family, "This is what you shall give me for wages, that I shall this day pass through all your flock, and take away from them every lamb that is speckled and spotted, and such as are brown among the sheep and among the goats. And if you will do this thing for me, I will return and feed your flock and keep them as at first." Laban did so. And Laban removed from his flock all that Jacob had said and gave them to him. And Jacob placed all that he had removed from Laban's flock in the hands of his sons. And Jacob was feeding the remainder of Laban's flock. When the servants of Isaac, which he had sent to Jacob, saw that Jacob would not return with them to the land of Canaan to his father, they went away from him and returned home to the land of Canaan. And Deborah remained with Jacob in Haran. She did not return with the servants of Isaac to the land of Canaan. And Deborah resided with Jacob's wives and children in Haran. Jacob served Laban 6 years longer, and when the sheep brought forth, Jacob removed from them such as were speckled and spotted, as he had determined with Laban. Jacob did so at Laban's for 6 years. And the man increased abundantly. He had cattle and maidservants and men servants, camels and asses. Jacob had 200 drove of cattle, and his cattle were of large size and of beautiful appearance, and were very productive. All the families of the sons of men desired to get some of the cattle of Jacob, for they were greatly prosperous. Many of the sons of men came to procure some of Jacob's flock, and Jacob gave them sheep for a manservant or a maidservant, or for an ass or a camel, or whatever Jacob desired from them they gave him. Jacob obtained riches and honor and possessions by means of these transactions with the sons of men. And the children of Laban envied him of this honor. In the course of time, he heard the words of Laban's sons, saying, Jacob has taken away all that was our father's, and of that which was our father's has he acquired all this glory. And Jacob observed the countenance of Laban and of his children, and it was not toward him in those days as it had been before. The Lord appeared to Jacob at the expiration of the 6 years and said to him, Arise, go forth out of this land, and return to the land of your birthplace, and I will be with you. And Jacob rose up at that time, and he mounted his children and wives and all belonging to him on camels, and he went forth to go to the land of Canaan to his father Isaac. Laban did not know that Jacob had gone from him, for Laban had been sheep shearing that day. Rachel stole her father's images, and she took them and concealed them on the camel on which she sat, and she went on. And this is the manner of the images. In taking a man who is the firstborn and slaying him, and taking the hair off his head, taking salt and salting the head, and anointing it in oil, then taking a small tablet of copper or a tablet of gold, and writing the name on it, and placing the tablet under his tongue, taking the head with the tablet under the tongue, and putting it in the house, and lighting up lights before it, and bowing down to it. At the time when they bow down to it, it speaks to them in all matters that they ask of it, through the power of the name which is written in it. And some make them in the figures of men, of gold and silver, and go to them in times known to them. And the figures receive the influence of the stars, and tell them future things. In this manner were the images which Rachel stole from her father. Rachel stole these images which were her father's in order that Laban might not know through them where Jacob had gone. Laban came home, and he asked concerning Jacob and his household, and he was not to be found. Laban sought his images to know where Jacob had gone, and could not find them. He went to some other images, and he inquired of them, and they told him that Jacob had fled from him to his fathers, to the land of Canaan. Laban then rose up and took his brothers and all his servants, and he went forth and pursued Jacob. And he overtook him in Mount Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, What is this you have done to me, to flee and deceive me, and lead my daughters and their children as captives taken by the sword. You did not suffer me to kiss them and send them away with joy, and you did steal my gods and did go away. And Jacob answered Laban, saying, because I was afraid that you would take your daughters by force from me, and now with whomsoever you find your gods, he shall die. And Laban searched for the images, and he examined in all Jacob's tents and furniture, but could not find them. And Laban said to Jacob, we will make a covenant together, and it shall be a testimony between me and you. If you shall afflict my daughters, or shall take other wives besides my daughters, even Elohim shall be a witness between me and you in this matter. And they took stones and made a heap. And Laban said, this heap is a witness between me and you. He called the name thereof Gilead. Jacob and Laban offered sacrifice on the mount, and they ate there by the heap, and they stayed in the mount all night. Laban rose up early in the morning. He wept with his daughters, and he kissed them, and he returned to his place. He hurried and sent off his son Beor, who was 17 years old, with Abi-Koraph, the son of Uz, the son of Nahor, and with them were 10 men. They hurried and went and passed on the road before Jacob, and they came by another road to the land of Seir. They came to Esau and said to him, thus says your brother and relative, your mother's brother Laban, the son of Bethuel, saying, have you heard what Jacob your brother has done to me, who first came to me naked and gave birth to? I went to meet him and brought him to my house with honor. I made him great, and I gave him my 2 daughters for wives, and also 2 of my maids. And the Most High blessed him on my account. Get the fuck out of here. He increased abundantly and had sons, daughters, and maidservants. He has also an immense stock of flocks and herds, camels and asses, also silver and gold in abundance. When he saw that his wealth increased, he left me while I went to shear my sheep, and he rose up and fled in secrecy. He lifted his wives and children on camels, and he led away all his cattle and property which he acquired in my land. And he lifted up his countenance to go to his father Isaac to the land of Canaan. He did not let me kiss my daughters and their children. He led my daughters as captives taken by the sword. And he also stole my gods, and he fled. And now I have left him in the mountain of the brook of Jabbok. Him and all belonging to him, he lacks nothing. If it be your wish to go to him, go then, and there will you find him. And you can do to him as your soul desires. And Laban's messengers came and told Esau all these things. Esau heard all the words of Laban's messengers, and his anger was greatly set ablaze against Jacob. And he remembered his hatred, and his anger burned within him. Esau hurried and took his children and servants and the souls of his household, being 60 men. He went and assembled all the children of Seir, the Horite, and their people, being 340 men. He took all this number of 400 men with drawn swords, and he went to Jacob to strike him. Esau divided his number into several parts, and he took the 60 men of his children and servants and the souls of his household as one head. And he gave them in care of Eliphaz, his eldest son. The remaining heads he gave to the care of the 6 sons of Seir, the Horite, and he placed every man over his generation and children. The whole of this camp went as it was, and Esau went among them toward Jacob, and he conducted them with speed. And Laban's messengers departed from Esau and went to the land of Canaan. And they came to the house of Rebekah, the mother of Jacob and Esau. And they told her, saying, Behold, your son Esau has gone against his brother Jacob with 400 men, for he heard that he was coming, and he is gone to make war with him, and to strike him, and to take all that he has. Rebekah hurried and sent 72 men from the servants of Isaac to meet Jacob on the road. For she said, Perhaps Esau may make war in the road when he meets him. These messengers went on the road to meet Jacob, and they met him in the road of the brook on the opposite side of the brook Jabbok. Jacob said when he saw them, This camp is destined to me from Elohim. And Jacob called the name of that place Machnaim. And Jacob knew all his father's people, and he kissed them and embraced them and came with them. Jacob asked them concerning his father and mother, and they said they were well. These messengers said to Jacob, Rebekah, your mother, has sent us to you, saying, I have heard, my son, that your brother Esau has gone forth against you on the road with men from the children of Seir, the Horite. Therefore, my son, listen to my voice and see with your counsel what you will do. When he comes up to you, supplicate him, and do not speak rashly to him, and give him a present from what you possess, and from what the Most High has favored you with. And when he asks you concerning your affairs, conceal nothing from him. Perhaps he may turn from his anger against you, and you will thereby save your soul, you and all belonging to you, for it is your duty to honor him, for he is your elder brother. When Jacob heard the words of his mother, which the messengers had spoken to him, Jacob lifted up his voice and wept bitterly, and did as his mother then commanded him. Thank you for listening, family. God bless everyone.